All right, ladies and gentlemen, another episode of the Mike Roach podcast will begin right now. And as you can see, very special guest in the building, the man, the myth, the legend. You know him as Boogie, the one, Alvin Williams, former NBA point guard, former Raptor, the man who went toe to toe with AI himself. Okay. Sportsnet NBA analyst, color commentary. Alvin, what's going on, my man? What's happening?
What's up, Mike, man? How you been? Long time.
I know, man. I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm doing well, man. Can't complain. Getting ready to call this game. Just sitting here, about to go over my notes and stuff. Call the game against the Washington Wizards. So we're gonna see what the Raptors have in store for us coming up tomorrow.
Well, you look like you're having fun calling these games. Is it possibly because we have a better product on the floor this year, Alvin?
Not at all, man. I'm having fun. I'm having fun because I enjoy doing it, man. But it come to find out, it makes the game easier to feel. You feel the energy is something where you just start seeing. But the whole time being a former player, man, and being in them situations where you've been losing and you're out there giving your effort, but you just can't get the results in a win. I understand that. I respect them, and because every time I see it, the guys they always still play hard. They still have the attitude, trying to win. So that doesn't go anywhere. So the games is it's easier to call the games, but it's always the respect has always been there, even when the
Mhm.
teams was down a little bit.
I hear you. So, speaking about this team being down, it is the opposite. They are now up, sir. 10-5 in the first 15 games. What are your overall thoughts about the team thus far this season?
I'm excitement like everybody else. Coming into this season, I felt that they've reached the expectations and they're managing to play a style of game that's exciting, that's promising. It's still early, and you're going to go through those bumps, those ups and downs during the season. So my thing is how you're going to respond to that. But I'm excited, man. I like the way I think the guys are growing into their roles. I think they're trying to execute what the game plans are, how they want to attack each and every game, and how they want to attack this season as a team. And if they're finding their identity early on, playing hard, playing scrappy, getting out, running, sharing the rock, and with the personnel they have, I think all the guys they're really accepting and they're growing and they're being the best at their roles that they possibly can be.
So the guy that we traded for last season, Brandon Ingram, who we were all
Mhm.
waiting to see, we finally get to see him now. 15 games through. What do you like most about what you're seeing from him?
I like the growth. I like the consistency, but the growth in him accepting that role as he's starting to be that guy. I think he understands that you put the ball in my hand, I can make something happen. I can get a bucket. These past couple of games, he's always been sharing the ball. I think that was an underrated part of his game. But I'm even thinking back to when they played Charlotte and RJ Barrett had the go ahead bucket. You know, kudos to the coaching staff not calling a timeout at the end of that game. They got the ball in bounds. They brought it down court. They got the ball at BI. You don't even have to draw up a play. Got him to a spot. He drew a double team, found his teammate. RJ lays the ball up. And then they finished that game with two big block shots. BI with a block shot from behind, and then Scottie Barnes with a block shot at the end of the game to seal it. So I just I love what he's bringing to the game. I love how the other players are allowed to just be comfortable in their roles. I love what it's doing for Scottie Barnes. It's freeing him up a bit to be that guy. He doesn't have to be the scorer and everybody expect him to be. So BI is unleashing a lot of things for everybody else. And as well, everybody else is allowing BI to be the best version of himself. And I think they're only going to continue to get better.
Now, I heard you mention the name Scottie Barnes, and he was the one who had the last block uh, with those two block attempts with the two block shots that they had at the end of the game.
Yep.
Talk to me about what you're seeing in him, especially from a leadership standpoint.
I see it. I see it coming, man. And a lot of times as fans and spectators and critics, we want to see what we want to see right away. and not
Mhm.
realizing that it takes time. You have to grow into it. It's a hell of an adjustment coming from college, being a young player. So many things on and off the court that you're dealing with. And to me, he's showing the maturity. The maturity continues to grow. I've always been urging for him to leave the officials alone, control his emotions a bit, and just concentrate on
Mhm.
the game a bit. But again, that comes in time. And I see him when the team needs him to be aggressive, he's being aggressive. When the team needs him to guard the best player, he's still doing those things that he was doing since he stepped foot in Canada. But he's being more consistent with his emotions and how he's handling his emotions. He's not letting the game or get distracted by the game or the referees. He's playing. And again, he's just being that all-around big basketball player. And when you talk about an all-around player, they're not just scoring. They're not just, assisting. They're doing those things. They're playing defense. And then the emotional leader. He's bringing that energy. I'm looking at his body language. His body language has been very consistent. So he's growing into the type of player that I'm sure he wants to be, and he's only going to get better. His skill set is going to continue to be refined, and he's going to be that player because again, he can impact the game in multiple ways on both sides of the basketball. So I'm excited for what he's doing. I'm excited for this team, how they continue to gel and play. But I'm very impressed with Scottie early on in this year from his maturity level and how he's managing his emotions.
I could tell that's a big thing for you because whenever I see or hear you calling these games, when it comes to Scottie Barnes, I always hear you with constructive criticism about Scottie Barnes when you're talking about him. And I can tell it's because you believe in him, right? Like I can tell that you believe that Scottie Barnes should be great, you know?
Hmm.
And a lot of the time I've had criticism for the other guy that I'm about to talk about, RJ Barrett, because I believe he's a guy who can take the team to the next level, in my opinion. I know we talk a lot about Ingram and we talk a lot about Scottie Barnes, but with me, I've seen um, RJ make better decisions when he's on the court. I've seen him give better effort defensively when he's on the court. He's more efficient with his scoring. What do you see from RJ Barrett that you like this season?
Same thing you're seeing. And I've been liking it since he came from New York. And, going to New York, watching him in New York, watching him at Duke, I just felt like he was a super aggressive player that was focused on getting his. And with the college style of game, when you're trying to get yours, whether you're playing against a zone and you can get double teamed and it's very crowded, it doesn't look as pleasing, right? It's
Mhm.
like you're forcing things. And then it was very similar in New York. The offensive style, it wasn't a spread out offensive style. So when he's driving to the basket, he's driving into two and three people, and it looks like he's forcing shots. But when he got to Toronto and the offense was more open, it was spread out, his driving lanes were open and he's finishing at the basket. And then when guys start collapsing, he's finding the teammates. Defensively,
Mhm.
he took on the challenge of guarding bigger wing guys. And to his credit, I feel like, and I don't know, it looked like he focused on getting stronger this summer because defensively, he's really holding his own. He's going to the basket, he's finishing through contact, and he still continues to rebound and he's assisting and he's growing into his role. He's being more patient. He's seeing the game in different levels now. He's not just attacking. He's attacking with a purpose, and that's just for the team. So I'm very excited, and I'm very pleased with what RJ is doing. And then even to go back with real quick with Scottie, and one thing I failed to mention, I love Scottie, and I've always been a fan of Scottie because he's so unselfish. He's an
Yeah.
unselfish guy, and you can see
Mhm.
that. So that's why I'm always like on Scottie for those type of things. But even going back to RJ, this is an unselfish team. You see how they pass the rock around. You see they take their time. You see when you see guys entering three guys entering that 20 point a game, average, Scottie, RJ. BI, and then you got Quick, and these guys, they're filling their roles. So I'm very pleased with RJ, man. I love the fact he wants to be here. I've been in
Yep.
Toronto for a long time, and a lot of players, man, did not want to be here. They didn't want to play for the organization. They love the city. They love to hang out and do it and have what the city offer. But RJ is he's engulfed in this atmosphere and this society and this culture and this country. So I love RJ. I've always loved him ever since he was a kid. So I'm excited for what he's bringing and what his future holds.
Now, Emmanuel Quickley, to me, I thought played his probably his best game of the season against Philly last night.
Hmm.
Um, Quickly just looks like he he didn't look great to me early on, but as they started playing more games, he started to look a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Just letting the game come to him, not forcing up bad shots, taking what the defense gives him. His shot really looks good right now. Good passing, finding guys in spots. What are you seeing from him?
Same thing. You said the word comfortable, and it comes in, quickly in today's NBA too. The point guard that we know it back in the day is not the quarterback. Set the table, make sure this guy is all right, make sure that guy is all right. Make like the game that the position has changed into more of a scoring position. You got to be a
Mm.
scorer. So in the past, we've asked Quick to score coming into the NBA, even with the Knicks. He was asked, he was a scorer coming off the bench, the scoring punch, even with the Raptors, shooting the ball in transition. But now he has a different responsibility. He has more of the traditional role of setting up because he has so much talent around him. And as soon as I think he realized that getting these guys involved early on, early and often, is going to make his job much easier from the scoring aspect. And I think he's growing into that role. He's doing a great job of assisting, not turning the ball over. The shot is coming around. And again, he's doing the other things against the Charlotte Hornets, 10 rebounds. He's doing all the things defensively. He's competing on the defensive end. He's really giving his effort. He's fighting over screens. He's sticking to the game plan. So I'm excited for him. And sometimes coming into the league, man, and coming into seasons, you have your own expectations and how you want to perform. And then a coach may throw a dart and say, you know what, this is what I want you to do. And it may be totally against what you expect yourself to do. And then you talk about somebody coming in playing under a new contract, so a massive contract. And I had some experience. I didn't have a contract that big, but I remember when I first came back and I signed a 7-year deal, a longer deal. I put pressure on myself to do more because I was getting paid more. But in all actuality, you're paid to do what you do and do it well. And I think Quick realized, and I'm not saying he did put pressure on himself, but he's really growing into that role of a point guard as a leader, man, and a consistent force and a constant force. And I also like what the coaching staff, Darko and his coaching staff, is doing by allowing him and Jamal Shed play next to each other.
Mm.
Because now you can get Quick to be that scoring threat, and Jamal Shed can be the setting the table. So I like the way the team is coming together again. I like the versatility of the game, but I also like what Quick is bringing. I like, man, and I know I'm just saying it, but I like exactly what everyone is doing, man. I like what they're doing.
Alvin, you brought something up talking about yourself, obviously as a former NBA pro, right? But when you have a guy like Ochai Agbaji, right, who's kind of
Hmm.
fallen out of the rotation a little bit, um, I'm assuming that it plays with your mind a little bit, right? Like when you're in a funk mentally as a professional athlete, what are some of the things that you have to do to kind of get yourself out of it?
I mean, it's all depends on who you are. Knowing and seeing what I've seen from Ochai Baji, he's a
And I'm
true
not speaking
professional.
about him specifically, just
Yeah,
kind of like overall.
but to take somebody like Ochai Baji, he's been nothing but a professional. And I think that's what it is when it comes to that point. You have to be a professional. You have to understand what professionalism is. And we talked about the word already, maturity. And you have to understand that it's always going to be tomorrow, but that tomorrow is not promised. The result of that tomorrow is not going to be promised. So you have to go in there and you have to continue doing all of the things that you do and you've done to get to that point times 10. You got to go harder. You got to go in the gym. You got to stay ready because your number is going to get called at some point. At some point, it's going to get called. It might get called for 1 minute. It might get called for 10 minutes. It might get called for an entire game. But you have to be ready. But you never know when that other chance is going to come again. So when you fall out of grace or you fall out of the lineup or through injury or just the rotation, you just have to be ready. And but it's tough. It's tough because mentally you can start playing with your mind. You can lose a little, your confidence can waver a bit. You hear a lot of guys talk about now their confidence, they got confidence in themselves. But man, sometimes it can waver. You're a human being. So it's important for you to really understand what professionalism looks like. You have to be there. You have to still support your team. You still have to go there and grind it out every single day because at some point your number is going to get called. And when it gets called, you got to be ready. So it's very challenging. It's very difficult, but that's why everybody's not in the NBA. If everybody could go through what an NBA player went through, everybody would try to be in there. Everybody would be in it, but they can't. And I was telling somebody today, the NBA is not just the best players. It's the players that can handle the toughest situations the best. And that's how I truly feel like adversity and all of the things that come with it. How can you truly handle it? Now you got your superstars, but you got players like a player like myself, a player like Ochai. Can those players handle the toughest situations the best? And if you can, you'll find yourself right back in the lineup, right back playing, right back part of a tremendous season and an opportunity to continue to move forward.
Now, a guy who's right back to having a pretty damn good season is one Jakob Poeltl. Okay,
Yeah.
Jakob Poeltl is like he just reminds me of one of those guys who, he comes to work, punches in, brings his lunch, eats his lunch quietly in the corner, packs his stuff up, and leaves.
Yep.
Tell me what you like about Jakob Poeltl this season and how he has looked better since kind of healing up that back injury that he had.
Yeah. Well, to me, he's the key to the Raptors' success. I think without a yacht, you're not going to go as far as you want to go because he's going to spearhead the defense, protecting the paint, rebound the basketball. Offensively, he's somebody that makes perfect reads, set great screens. He finishes, has good hands. So the entire part of the game, he brings that. He brings the size. He brings versatility. He brings a lot of things to the team. And without a healthy Pirtle, the team is going to be mediocre, right?
Mhm.
It's going to be one of those teams that you're going to find in the middle of the pack. It's going to be up and down. But if he's healthy, and he's at his best version, this team will be a force to be reckoned with coming out of the East because he does so many things. He's the guy that can guard the bigs. He's the guys that can, again, defend the rim. And when he's healthy again, he's the piece. And I think early on, the way the team was playing with the up tempo and picking up with the aggressive defense, which is key. But I also give credit to the coaching staff. They made adjustments. They're not picking up 94 feet and they still have ball pressure, but they don't have Pirtle out there switching and doing everything so far away from the basket, then trying to get back to the rim. And plus, he probably wasn't 100% anyway. So, with him being in his comfortable role in the defense, not 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 settling back a bit, but just being more selective with their style of play and more versatile with their style of play, I think is helping everyone a part of it. So Pirtle, to your point, he's playing his butt off. But again, if he's not healthy and he's not the best version, we're looking at another a possible down season for the Raptors because he's the key to me.
Mhm. Defensively, what part do you think the Raptors need to work on the most from a team aspect?
Um, I mean, you can always get better defensively, but I mean, shucks, I think they're doing well defensively. Now, when you start playing your higher echelon teams with guys that play a certain role, and you have your superstars, your Donovan Mitchells, and your Jalen Browns, and your Tyrese Maxeys, and you go and play against the Jokers and guys that dominate the game in different ways, it's about those adjustments. I want to see the bench really come in and continue bringing that pressure and bringing that energy and being able to guard the ball. Being able to guard the ball. And the one thing I will always say, the Raptors early on, they were fouling a lot. They were giving
Mhm.
teams opportunities by getting to the free throw line a lot. And once you start picking up those fouls early and getting in foul trouble and putting it being in a bonus early on, your opposing team is shooting free throws. You don't want to be put in that position. So I think the Raptors they're doing a much better job of not fouling as much. But that was the key. Keeping the opponents off of the free throw line. I know they were one of the worst teams at that at one point. I'm not sure exactly where they stand now, but just guarding the ball and playing smart basketball and being in position. The steal numbers are down, the forcing the turnovers are down, and I like that. You know why I like that? I like that because that's telling me they're not playing the reckless style, going for gambles, going for steals, shooting the lanes. They're more playing position basketball. They're in the gaps. They're helping when they're supposed to help, and they're finishing every play with a rebound and a contest. So I enjoy watching them defensively, and of course, you could continue getting better. I think there's a few players that can, get better defensively on the ball and to the schemes. But as a whole, I think the team is to continue at this point of the season. They're in a good place defensively.
All right, now Alvin, we've talked a lot about the Toronto Raptors, but before we get out of here, there's a couple things that have happened around the NBA. So I just want to pick your brain on these couple things first, okay?
Mhm.
The first thing that I want to talk to you about is Nico. Okay. Nico, this whole situation with trading Luka Doncic and the situation there in Dallas, they can him. He gets fired. Okay. And so I still say that that man is the scapegoat of this entire thing. What are
Mhm.
your thoughts on Nico Harrison and him now getting fired with Dallas in this whole damn situation here?
Unfortunate situation for Nico, man. I think, of course, he's not making an end all decision for the trading of Luca. I think it was a business decision. I think it was a decision that they came together with the new ownership group and as well as the coaching staff to say we need to move forward off of Luca because is he the guy that's going to lead us to where we ultimately want to be as an organization? And is he the guy that we want to pay the supermax money to and be pigeonholed with a guy like this in our organization? And I don't know about not that organization, but talking to a few people, it was a tough situation, man. He wasn't the ideal citizen in that organization. And we've seen it before. But when you look at it, you got to make a decision. And I think Nico, the person that he is, he saw that we can make a change, and we can still be a great team. We may even be better, just cutting our losses. And unfortunately, Kyrie gets hurt. Unfortunately, AD gets hurt, and unfortunately, Luca looking like Luca, right? And the Lakers are
Yeah.
doing well, so it doesn't look well. It doesn't look great for Nico. But again, I will say this, man: the Luca Doncic that's playing for the Lakers was not the Luca Doncic that's playing for the Dallas Mavericks. This Luca, he's been held accountable. He's been made adjustments from his weight. I'm sure it was a
Mhm.
smack in his face to say, "Hey, I need to pick it up because at any time this can happen. I can't take this situation for granted." And remember, when he was with Dallas, he was not playing. He was
Mhm.
somebody that had the calf injury or the injury. But as ironically, as soon as he got traded, a couple of days later, now he's playing. So that
Mhm.
also lets me know when he's in Dallas, he's doing a few things that's a little shaky, and people are shaking their heads. So it
Yeah.
wasn't the greatest situation, but he's going to have to pay for it, of course. But it's unfortunate because he made a decision and he stuck by his decision. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good optically because the fan base, and to me, the fan base got Nico fired. I think the fan base and how they turned against the Dallas Mavericks team and protesting outside of the games and all that, it put pressure on the ownership group. And ownership group, what's their main thing? They got to make sure to keep the fans engaged. It's the
Yep.
money. It's the money side.
The
So
money.
Nico,
Yeah.
Nico had to be the guy, the fall guy, to make it seem like they're making an improvement or they're making a change. And now look what you do. You bring Mark Cuban back, another big figure in that Dallas organization, that Dallas community, and the NBA in a whole. So they had to do that, and unfortunately for Nico, it fell on his shoulders.
All right, Alvin, thank you. Two more for you. Just two more for you.
Come on,
Okay.
let's go. Let's go.
Now we're gonna go to Memphis here. We're gonna go for
Mhm.
Memphis. And I want to talk about Morant because Morant, as we all know, is a spectacular player. When he's healthy, when he's engaged, when he's motivated, Morant is an unbelievable player. But do you think that at this point, time is up in Memphis?
Man, I mean, it depends on him, man. It depends on how he continues to grow, how he approaches life, how he approaches his career. Because to me, he's like one of those guys where, like you said, he's a phenomenal talent. He's brought success there to that organization when he's been healthy. He's brought excitement, but as an individual now, you're being looked at as a young man, right? They want you to be a leader. They want you to be these things. And again, I said it before, he hasn't shown that he is ready for that. And that's all right.
Mhm.
Everybody's not a leader. Like it's cool for somebody to say, you know what? Mike is a better leader than me. I'm gonna follow his lead. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna play my role. And I would say it when Vince Carter was here, he was our best player, and we wanted to follow Vince. We wanted to, be energized by Vince, but he wasn't our leader. Charles Oakley was our leader. Muggsy Bogues was our leader. D Brown was our leader. We had a bunch of older guys where Vince didn't have to be the leader. It's unfortunate now, and a lot of people place that title on people because they're the best player.
Mm.
But he's not, he hasn't shown that he's a leader yet. He hasn't shown that he's ready to be a leader. He hasn't shown that he wants to be a leader. So again, if you trade him somewhere or his time is up, yeah, he's gonna still be a phenomenal player, but he's gonna go somewhere now with so much luggage and so much baggage where people think his reputation is what it's going to be. So I'm not sure if a new location is going to be the best thing. But guess what? Is working for Luca right now. It's working. He's showing out. He's playing well. People is receiving him well. So it's going to all be up to the young fella how he approaches this game, and again, more importantly, how he approaches his career because it's on him. He has the game. He has the ability. He has all of that. Now it's about trying to put it all together. And again, it takes time. You just hope that he gets it sooner than later. And again, that was all off the court incidents. I don't know what's going on amongst the team in that locker room. I don't
Mhm.
know. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe it's not his fault. Maybe it's the coach. Maybe the coach needs to make an adjustment. You're a young
Could be.
coach, you're a first year head coach. You may need to make an adjustment to your superstar, right? You may need that. You may can't come in there and just have an iron fist right away. So it's a two-way street, but hopefully the young fella gets it together.
Are you surprised they haven't put, more around him at this point, considering how long he's been in Memphis now?
Um, I mean, you got Jaren Jackson, you got some players. They took away Dylan Brooks. When they took Dylan Brooks away, that was surprising because I thought he was somebody defensively. I thought he was somebody from an emotional standpoint. I thought
Mhm.
he brought a toughness to it, but I don't know the whole entire landscape of that organization, but it takes time, man, especially with these
Yeah.
salaries and this CBA, man. You got to be really selective in how you approach constructing a roster these days. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, he's been hurt. But when he's been healthy, the team has looked pretty damn good. But since he's been hurt, and even when he was hurt at some times, Mike, the team played well when he was out. Not the
Yeah.
year he
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
suspended, but the year prior he was hurt, and the team played really. I'm not sure, but they had an amazing record without him in a lineup at times. But he
Mhm.
was almost an MVP candidate the way he was playing before he got hurt. So it's and the other thing too, they're in that West, so the West is really
True.
really tough. So
Mhm.
they're gonna have to put something around him, or they're gonna have to make a decision because again, that coach and player dynamic, if it's not going to mesh, if it's not going to come together, and they're going to continue being like that, it's going to be something. They're going to be where they are right now.
Okay. Last question. But it's pretty similar to the one that I just asked you. Sham Sharania just reported maybe an hour or two ago, maybe a little bit longer, that LaMelo Ball is frustrated with the organization and is open to a trade. Now, I was talking to somebody about Charlotte the other day. Like Charlotte has some pretty good talent. Like when I think about some of the guys on their team, they're young. They're young, and LaMelo Ball has been there for a few seasons now. But they never really seem to do anything. I mean, I don't even know what to think about Charlotte anymore. Do you think this is more on roster construction, front office, or do you think more of the way you just talked about leadership, and maybe LaMelo isn't ready to take on that type of leadership? Does it just have to do with talent? How do you explain this one?
Um, I think for years Charlotte has dropped the ball on some of their draft picks. I think back, and I can't quite remember the names, but I remember them drafting similar players for like 2 or 3 years in a row, similar positions and things like that. But from a LaMelo Ball standpoint, if I'm organization, I'm trading him as soon as I can. I'm trading him as soon as I can because to me, man, he's talented. He can play, but he's not bringing nothing to my team, man. Like he's not, for whatever reason, he's not growing as a player right here.
Mhm.
Like learning, and I guess it's hard when you're not winning, but for whatever reason, he's still not playing winning basketball. And he, again, put the ball in his hands, he's going to make things happen. He's going to help your team. That team is night and day with him in the lineup. And when he's out the lineup, they're not formidable at all. But with him in the lineup, but at the same time, if I could get something for him, something valuable and something comparable, then I'm going to try to do it because first he's hurt a lot. He doesn't play a lot of games. And then
Mhm.
again, I'm not seeing the growth that I would like to see from a LaMelo Ball as an individual player. Like as a player, making guys around him better. I mean, some of the decision making I see is still the same as I saw as a rookie, right? Great talent is a great talent, but I don't know how when it comes to winning games, how you can win with him as your focus, right? As your focus right now. But again, it takes time. I won't count the young fella out, but I definitely would look into entertaining that. If he's open for a trade market, I might I might trade him for a couple of hot dogs and a few sodas. No, that's a joke. I wouldn't trade him for just that,
Man.
but I would look.
Yeah.
I would look into that. I would look into that because
Yeah.
again, he's a talented player, but I'm just watching him play, man. It's just he falls into that category with me, like a Trey Young, like a Trey Young.
Mhm.
Great talent, but and I shouldn't even say that about Trey Young because Trey Young has won some games, got to the playoffs, things
Yeah,
like that.
he's damn good.
Yeah, different situations. But it's like, can we grow with you as the guy? Can
Mhm.
we get any better with you as the guy? Now, again, it might not be fair to say Trey Young and LaMelo Ball because of their situations, because Trey Young has definitely won some big games. I think they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, or they definitely went to the second round of the playoffs. But and Melo hasn't been in those type of situations, and maybe he needs to be in that. But I just haven't seen the maturity level from a LaMelo Ball yet to say that he's not tradable.
Yeah. Definitely hear you, man. Alvin Williams, thank you, sir. Thank you for the time. Much
Oh
appreciated.
man, no, I appreciate you having me on, man. Like anytime you want to call me, Doc. Let's chop it up. Let's talk some hoops.
All right, man. I'll see you in the next couple games, ladies and gentlemen. The Mike Roach podcast. Thank you very much to Alvin Williams. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the podcast. It's your boy Mike Roach and Alvin Williams signing off. Peace.